Welcome to TerryWilson3.com.
Decade of helping others
Discover, develop, and monetize your skills and talents
at TerryWilson3.com.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really, I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started.
You're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article.
Right now, Terry, I'm so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things. You got me so jazzed up.
I'm still blown away by your story.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid.
You're like a cousin or an uncle that I just want to hang out with.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life.
Can't possibly say enough good things about you except that I love you.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Thank you, Christopher B. Let me ask you a question. What is your return on investment in your marketing dollars? For every dollar you spend, what are you getting back? If you've never asked yourself that question, you really need to. And I think sometimes we're not intentional with those questions. We're not cognizant of those questions in our business. We just sort of fly by the seat of our pants. We sort of, just go along with the flow. And a lot of times we get caught up in this thing. Well, I'm just going to do this thing like here and this thing over here and this activity. I'm just going to do the thing myself. And that might be the best thing for you, and it might not. The question is, what are you getting for every dollar you spend in marketing? What are you getting back? Because if you can understand your numbers, you're going to be able to grow your business. Because you've heard me say it now going on almost 14 years coming up in this July. Almost 14 years we've been saying that leads are the lifeblood of any business. And the way you develop leads is through your marketing. And if you don't have a strong marketing arm in your business, folks, you're not going to be in business. And I'm going to tell you that with what's going on in the world today, and with all the noise and with all of the distractions, with all the things that your clients, the people that want to buy from you, with all of the things that are distracting them, if you do not know how to get out in front of them, how to get their attention, how to capture their attention, how to stay engaged with them, how to nurture that conversation to close, if you don't have those assets and abilities and skill sets to do, you're on your way out. You just are. I mean, the days of just sheer hustle alone is coming quickly to an end. You're going to have to be more sophisticated than that just because of the nature of our society, unless we go back to the Stone Ages and just the world ends tomorrow and we're all back to living off the grid and stuff. And that happens, then it's a reset and we can not have to worry about it. But if we're going to live in this fast-paced digital society with everything being seen through digital means, you're just going to have to be able to be more sophisticated in your marketing than even what you had to do just a few years ago, pre-pandemic. You just are. I mean, we felt it. So let me ask you basically 3 questions here. I got 3 questions I want to ask you. And if you can answer these, you're going to be able to develop what your numbers should be. And the first question is, do you have a return on your marketing where for every dollar you spend, you earn $5 to $10 back? For every dollar you spend in marketing, you get $5 to $10 back. Now, $5 is typically average where an acceptable campaign is. Sometimes they dip down to $3. Sometimes it could be $2. You're spending $1 to make $2. But for every dollar you spend, a home run, something is just out of the park. And I'm going to give you a case study after this where I just hit a home run. And for every dollar it was being spent, $10 was being made back for a managed account I had several years ago. It sort of put me on the map of what I'm doing now. But you've got to understand those numbers. If you don't have those numbers, you got to get real familiar with it real quick. And if you're not making, I aim for at least $5 per dollar I spend. Because if I can get that, it's a very sustainable business and I can scale my business. If I'm not earning that, it tells me all kinds of things. It tells me either my sales narrative is off, my target is off, my ad copy or my engagement piece, whatever that might be. It might be a radio ad or nowadays it's not even radio, it's podcast ad or something I'm doing on social media. It could be in the form of video, it could be in the form of audio, it could be in the form of whatever, but it's either on the wrong platform, it's the wrong message. So I start there, okay? And if I'm getting plenty of people engaged, but then when I get them to ask for information so that I can sell to them, there's a 3-step process here. You engage the audience, you capture their information so that you can then convey this high perceived value thing that you're wanting to give them. If I'm getting a bunch of people over to my call center or my landing page or whatever that capturing a stage is, whatever I'm using to capture. If I'm getting a ton of people there and I'm just not capturing them, then there's something wrong with the offer that I'm making there, that they're not seeing that it's high enough value to give up information like their name, number, email address so that I can convey whatever it is I'm wanting to convey. If I'm getting tons of people there, that means my ad copy, my engagement piece is working. If I'm getting tons of opt-ins, people are talking to my sales reps on the phone, they're talking or they're opting in to a form or they're giving up information. So I've got plenty of ad copy. My ad copy is working. I got plenty of traffic. I've got plenty of people opting in, but I'm not converting them. Then that's got to do with the copy, the sales narrative, the ability to convert that prospect to a client on the back end. What's wrong with my product? Is my product off? Or am I getting the wrong people in my funnel? Or am I framing my product poorly to these people? Something has got to give. Those 3 things, once I get that, those are the things I'm looking. And then once I've got those sort of narrowed down and figured out, I'm going to start seeing that ROI, that return on investment, to go from either a 5 to 10 to 1 ratio. 5 to 1 is acceptable. 10 to 1 is a home run. Okay. But if I'm not measuring my dollars and I'm not measuring my dollars going out, then I don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I love our sales tracker tool and our dashboard that all of our members and clients have if they have the TW3 app. You can literally tag clients that are coming in, you can tag them on the way out, and then you can run the numbers, okay? And just by sheer counting, okay, it cost me, I ran a Facebook ad and I spent $300 on Facebook ads. And at the end of the month on that $300 spend, I had $3,000 come out. Well, then I'm hitting a home run at that point, okay? Because that's what, a 10 to 1. And that's really good. And that's so doable. Let me tell you, with some of the stuff I do, and that's the other thing, certain campaigns are just going to be home runs or better. So you just got to set your expectations, because there are some products out there that you've got to drive so much more traffic because it's a more difficult product to sell. There's some products that have 130% commission on it. In other words, for what it costs in annualized premiums, like in the insurance world, they'll pay. Why? Because it takes a lot more money and dollars and advertising and marketing and effort and, all of that. As the old adage says, there's some products that are sold and there's some products that are bought, and products that have to be sold. The commission structure has got to be, commensurate with the efforts that are being spent on that. Okay. So the number one question, am I getting that 5 to 10 to 1 ratio? Second question, am I asking my sales team to do my marketing for me? Am I the sales guy? If I'm a solopreneur and I'm great at sales, let me just tell you something. And I've said this for years, and I know it's offensive, but it's just true. I mean, the numbers bear it out. And I've got guys that over the decade here of what we've had to work with and the experience we've had, especially with the retail world, the insurance world, the real estate world. I've dealt with a ton of salespeople, dealt with a ton of business owners. And it's not just salespeople. I'm going to say business owners in general, but specifically salespeople. Salespeople are terrible marketers. I have yet to meet, it's a rare bird. It's a unicorn to find a salesperson that's also a great marketer, because salespeople want to sell. Salespeople want to explain the benefits. Salespeople want to persuade. Salespeople want to Explain why you've got to get this today. Salespeople want to do all those things that you need to sell. Marketers know that marketing is nothing more than capturing attention. It is a type of sale. It's selling them on giving up information and developing this narrative that will keep them in the conversation to finally ask for a salesperson to then sell to them. But up until that point, it's not selling, it's marketing. And most salespeople are really, really excited about what they sell. They have to be, or they're not going to be successful. If you're not, you know this, if you're not excited about whatever it is you're selling, you're not going to sell it. So a salesperson has got to be excited about that widget, that product, that service, that whatever. The problem is that excitement, that enthusiasm, that wanting everybody to buy into what you've bought into is the very thing that's a deterrent for you to be able to market well. Because for you to be able to market well, you've got to get them to that point, and sometimes you're fighting against yourself in your ad copy, in your copyright, in your engagement pieces, and in all of these steps to get them to that point. You're getting ahead of yourself constantly. And so it is a more difficult thing when you're coming from the mindset of a salesperson. So the second question I'm asking you, if you're the salesperson in your business or you got a sales staff, stop asking them to be your marketing team, but get a marketer for you. Okay? Get in the marketing mindset. If you're the business owner, you need to be the marketer of that business owner. And if you're better at sales, then you need to let someone manage your marketing for you, because it's just going to improve your return on investment with what you're investing in your marketing dollars. The third question I would ask is, do I have someone who I can give that to if it's not me? Do you have someone on staff, or do you have the budget to hire a point person? And here's what your person has got to be. If you don't have these skills, then this is what you've got to hire out, either by hiring out a marketing firm like ourselves to manage the account for you, or getting someone on staff that can manage the account for you and making them an employee. But here's what you got to have. You got to have someone that's good with copyright. Okay. And I'm not talking about spelling. I'm not talking about grammar, even though all that's important and it needs to be ran through someone that can. When I'm talking about being able to use language in a way that compels action, being able to use language in a creative way that's going to grab people's attention. Okay. Quick example. Here's a great ad copy piece I did years ago when I first got into life insurance, and I just got out of the music business. And it was a mailer piece. And the mailer just said this: life insurance coverage up to $500,000. Premiums starting at $2 a month. That's all I said. Life insurance with coverage up to $500,000 and premiums starting at $2 per month. That was a great piece, because we did have a child insurance plan. It started at like literally $2, and we did have a whole life and a term life product that would go up to $500,000. But what the reader read was you could get $500,000 for $2 a month. It's not what it said. And it was read, and it might not have been exactly like that, but grammatically, but it was written literally in a way that we have coverage that goes up to $500,000, and we have coverage that starts at only $2 a month. We knew that people were going to misread it. We weren't trying to sell anything under a deceptive mindset. That's not the case. But we were trying to compel people to act and call now for more information. And they said, yeah, I saw this piece. I said, yes, we're very excited. What we can do is run a quote real quick, see what you qualify for. We do have premiums that start at only $2 a month. Of course, that's based on age. It's based on health. It's based on all this other stuff. And we also have coverage that goes up to $500,000. But here again, it's based on health. But all it did was but see, if a salesperson sent that piece out, they would have gone to their calculator and they would have said, okay, for a 45-year-old man, and they would have put a table up there. Here's all the different rates, and here's what the premiums would be each month based on a standard rate. It could go up, and they would just try to explain. And that's the difference. Piffy, concise, call to action, that's going to get their attention, and then you explain what the language means. No one's buying anything yet, so no one's deceived. No one's spending any money. No one's spending anything. But you're just compelling them with big print where the big print giveth the little print taketh away. But that's creativity. If you don't have a person on staff that thinks in those terms, you've got to get someone, right? Or you got to start thinking that way, start sharpening those skills. Number two, do you have someone that can develop a sales narrative? And a sales narrative is, how do you marry a specific product with a specific type of people and make it make sense? And I give this at our webinars and seminars and our conferences that we do all the time. And I go through these different ways that, like, I'll tell someone, pick a product. Okay. Someone picked a product. And I say, okay, pick a interest like sports. Okay. Pick a specific sports team. Okay, great. So we're going to pick the Atlanta Braves down in Atlanta. Okay. And we are selling what? And I'll get them to name whatever. And then I show them how to weave together an ad copy that marries that and how it puts them together, it conflates them with this narrative. And by doing that, you're going to get people that are interested in this over here, but you're pulling them over here. So how to develop sales narrative. The third thing that this person's got to be able to do is understand the technical components, because to string all this together, to put it on social media, to put content out there, to put email sequences and text sequences and blogs, and if you're doing podcasts and doing explanation videos, all of those things have technical components to it that have to be learned. So you're either going to have to be able to do it, or you got to be sophisticated enough to be able to communicate to people, to outsource it to, these freelance type companies. You don't have to do all this yourself, but you got to understand what you want and talk the talk to be able to put it all together in a technical standpoint. And does that person know how to develop content? Do they know how to develop actual content? It's one thing to know about a product. It's another thing to be able to put content around that product that makes it attractive and constantly, because you can't go day after day in your social media accounts, in your email, and say, hey, you want to buy this? Hey, do you want to buy this? Hey, do you want to buy this? You've always got to come up with various pieces of content that keeps them engaged at different levels in different places. But it's always putting your value, your products, your goods, your services back out in front of them. I.e., think about this podcast right here. I'm selling you entrepreneurialism all the time, but I'm coming at it at different angles. Mindset. I'm talking about business concepts. I'm talking about anything and everything all the time. Developing content. Why? Because it gives me rationale and reason. Hey, you need to listen to this. Now, I could do that with my blog. I could do that with social media things. I can do that with all different, but you got to be able to develop content. So the three questions, am I getting that 5 to 10 1 ratio on my spend when I'm doing marketing? Because all the marketing agencies, everybody out there that works from Fortune 500 companies like Coca-Cola all the way down to yours truly here, I'm telling you, it's been personal experience. You've got to be getting a minimum, on average, 5 to 1. Now, you're going to hit some home runs, but 5 to 1 is what you're aiming for. Am I asking my sales team to market for me? If you are, stop it. And do I have someone? Am I that someone? Do I have the resource inside, the human resource, to do some of these things for me? And the 4 things that you got to be able to do is write copy, develop sales narratives, understand tech, and develop content. Now, the first account I ever managed was, back in 2011, 2012, somewhere along there. And it's sort of what put me on the map. And it happened during ACA. The Affordable Care Act was coming out, and health companies and health insurance producers and insurance agents in general were scrambling. Scared to death. What's going on? And there was a lot of posturing going on. So it was really uncertain as to how this thing would shake out. So there was a particular health company I worked with. I was just an agent at the time, and I was a producer. And they were told by their state legislatures that, represent them, that they're based out of, the state they were based out of, their congressmen and senators, told them that if they could get enough people on the books, that they might be able to justify a caveat in the new bill that would allow the people that were on their books to be able to be waived from somehow special waiver from the penalties and everything that was being discussed, which none of that ever materialized, by the way. But they had major medical plans, but they also had indemnity plans, and they made the business decision, just looking at everything, that they weren't going to be able to compete with other companies on the major medical. So they were really going to start focusing on their indemnity plan. But how do you sell that? How do you sell it in this environment? What's going on? And they had some special coverage that came with that plan. And I don't want to get in the weeds with what plans are, because most of you are not even probably in health insurance. But here's the deal. They had a product that was their only hope of being able to sell and stay viable. And I had been a top producer in the particular product that they were going to pin some of their hopes on, just so happened to be the one I was just knocking out of the park. So they brought me on to manage their marketing, and we developed a sales narrative. We developed campaigns. We developed ad copy. We developed some marketing techniques that basically we targeted people that made too much to get any subsidies that was going to be offered. And we targeted people that didn't quite make enough, the same people that made too much to get a subsidy but did make enough that the new premiums that was coming down the pipeline would be affordable, because the premiums were just going up outrageous. So there was a sweet spot of income that we needed to target. But then here's the other filter you got, or situation you got to filter for, financial concern. Okay, so that tells me what I got to make, but then who can I find that makes that kind of money in that particular, area that would find value in this? Because a lot of people at that income level would be in some sort of group plan and group benefit that was moving over. And so what we discovered was they were about 2 or 3 types of professions that had this type of individual in it that didn't have a group plan, that made this type of money on average, that would find value in it. So I developed a brand name, called it 89healthplan.com. I sent out voicemail drops and text messages to these groups of people that said, "Hi, this is," and I introduced myself with 89healthplan.com. letting you know that you qualify for a health insurance plan starting on $89 with absolutely no deductible, but you have to act now because enrollment is closing if you're interested. And I even put language in there, because you are a part of whatever organization in whatever area of the country they're in, that there's a special enrollment period for them right now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it literally was 10, 12 seconds. And I said, go to 89healthplan.com right now, which that website's gone and everything. But the point is this: they went there, video was up, explaining the difference between this plan versus what the ACA was, explaining the law, explaining how you are going to pay a penalty, but you're not going to have to pay these high premiums. You're not going to have this huge deductible, and you're going to get this plan for as little as $89, and then going up based on your age. Here again, the old insurance trick, talking about low premium starting here and it goes up to here. And all they had to do is click here, and they can get their rate, coverage, and card today. Everything's done online. Their salespeople's going to come out. So they're opting into this form. They're sent this information that's in this portal that the insurance company set up. And we literally put about $15 million in annualized premiums on the books for those folks. Now, they were getting literally about a 15-to-1 ratio on marketing return. And so that was a huge, huge success. And all of those moving components, from the copy to the concept to the idea, That's what it takes to market your business. You need to be able, you need to go in and think strategically. And that's the benefits that we offer as a member here at TW3. We teach you and give you case studies like this and things we do that you can emulate. And we also help people that want their accounts managed for them. I know a ton of people says, hey, I'm in the food business. I'm in the healthcare business. I'm in the legal profession. I'm in this, I'm in that. I don't want to be a marketer. And it's worth it to them to pay a marketing agency like us to just manage the account for them. But the thing is, you want to get those returns on investment. You want to be able to see, some value out of the spend. And so that goes into lead generation and being able to have a sales staff to close the deal. And so those are the moving components. And so today's podcast is about what's your marketing return on investment. Be thinking about that, because here's the deal. When you can really get some concepts under your belt, when you really start getting some of these strategies and you've developed your craft, you develop this thing that you do, then it makes business fun, because you know where your money's going out and you know how to expect for money to coming in. And it doesn't mean that there won't be disruptions at time to time. The market changes, there's ebb and flows. And good night. Just in the last 2 years, we literally have changed up marketing concepts and strategies probably 8 different times, because the zeitgeist in the whole country and world really has changed. And so we have to change with it. We're going through what many are calling the Great Resignation right now, which means the opportunity space is huge. And we're going to be talking about this in our next podcast. But if you follow the dollars on where money is being spent and invested in by these congressmen and senators that are up in DC, follow the money. It tells you a lot. It tells you, and I'm not talking about, spending bills and all that. I'm talking about because it's public knowledge. They have to show what they're investing in, and the stocks that they're buying right now. I'm telling you, if you're a TW3 member, you're in a great business, because if the money's going to flow where they're spending it, you are in a great space, because they're putting their money in basically companies like us that equip small business to be more mobile, to be more agile, to be work remotely. And all of these tools, all of these concepts, everything from our software to our marketing to our lead generation to everything that we are doing to help businesses scale. There's companies out there like Salesforce and other people that are doing it. And the number one, I'll just let the cat out of the bag, the number one stock that's being bought by a lot of these politicians is in companies like LinkedIn and Salesforce. And so that tells you that the Great Resignation is not going to stop. More and more people are going independent. More and more people are working remotely. More and more people are doing things, which means more and more people, whether they buy TW3 or something else, you're going to have what we offer. If you do not have that brick and mortar store with all that traffic, how do you get in front of those people? And it's not enough just to have, hey, I got a LinkedIn account or I got a Facebook account. Hey, we all got that. That's not enough. That doesn't keep people tied to you, and you don't own that data. Mark Zuckerberg does, or Microsoft does. So the only way to be the captain of your own ship is to have your own platform. And that's what we preach here at TW3. You got to have it. So I hope this helped you. There's 2 ways of handling your marketing. Do it yourself or have it managed. There's no easy way out. You either have to go to school and learn this stuff like I did, because I'm not a natural person here, but I came up as a salesperson, but I had to learn marketing real quick just because it was no choices. And the technical component is usually the one that trips people up. That and the creative part of developing, those narratives, that there's a creativity side and there's a technical side. But that's what it takes to get that going. And if you don't know these things, become a member. That's what membership does. That's what these training modules do for you at TW3 as an elite member. And if you're looking for a business opportunity, that's what our sales rep and trainer and plus rep and trainer offers, because then you can sell the TW3 packages, and you're in a business that is got a very popular product right now, which is a business platform and stuff. So no matter if you're using us as a tool or using us as an actual business opportunity yourself, it's a great time to be at TW3. We had literally over 50,000 leads come in just this month, and we're only at the 20th of this month. That's crazy. That is just absolute crazy. And so those leads are being processed right now. Those leads are being nurtured. We're already seeing people apply for our TW3 Easy Pay, which is our financing, which is the financing gets approved. That's a huge surge just about to just wash over a lot of our people in this business. So I'm telling you, get ready. 2022 is here. If you want to see your money business life go to new levels, you've got to have leads. You got to be a way to nurture those leads. You got to have a way of converting those leads. And that's either going to be you getting the tools, training, and technology you need to do it yourself, or getting someone to do it for you. But get there and do it. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com.
Get a free sample copy of the book You Are Worth More by going to TerryWilson3.com now.
If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com.